If you thought the Squid Games were brutal, just wait until you meet Im Jeong-dae, better known as Player 100. He wasn't the strongest or the smartest, but he was the most dangerous in a room full of scared people. His greed made him the worst and probably most hated player of Squid Game. If this grandpa was taken to court, his actions would definitely get him a heavy sentence. So without further ado, let's get into his first crime. Before Player 100 disturbs the peace of Squid Game, he has some prior crimes we need to keep track of. Before Im Jeong-dae ever set foot on the Squid Game floor, he was already drowning in 10 billion won of debt. And this wasn't your average loan shark situation. Jeong-dae racked it up through embezzlement, corruption, and straight-up financial crime. This man didn't just steal from strangers. He stole from his own people, workers, partners, maybe even his own grandma if she had a pension plan. While pretending to be some visionary leader, he was really just funneling cash into his personal empire until it all collapsed. In the real world, that's embezzlement, which comes with a $250,000 fine right out of the gate. Add to that a mountain of financial fraud, the demands he pays all the victims back, basically being the entire 10 billion won. Oh, and 20 years in prison for good measure. As for the corruption, let's just say this man is now legally banned from starting a company, leading a team, or even forming a book club. The only thing he's allowed to manage now is his cell block chores. And that's just the beginning. He also attempted to manipulate the votes. Technically, voting isn't illegal, but when Player 100 starts campaigning like it's a general election, things go downhill fast. He sways the group's decisions with manipulation and fear, fully aware that each vote could mean someone's death. Legally, it's not his crime to own. The real blame sits with the people running the show. Still, what Player 100 did counts as gross negligence, as he is partially responsible for the massacre, and in the real world, that could land someone 18 years in prison. And this sets the perfect stage for what comes next. When the vote doesn't go his way, Player 100 switches tactics. If he can't lead them with speeches, he'll lead them with fear. He suggests killing during lights out, a premeditated plan that the organization fully expects, but still, it's his idea. That alone earns him 2 years in prison for incitement to violence. But he doesn't stop there. When the chaos begins, Player 100 personally kills someone in the dark. No threat, no reason, just a quiet stab in the night. That's murder, and it adds a life sentence to his record. But this is not the end of it. In Season 3, Gramps and Player 232 are searching for an exit. They're exhausted, anxious, and on edge. Eventually, they find a new room. But just as they step inside, a woman in a red vest enters from the other side. In that moment, Player 100 makes a choice. He shoves 232 forward, straight toward her, then grabs the door and holds it shut. From behind the door, there's screaming, a struggle, then silence. Player 232 is stabbed, alone and trapped, while Player 100 keeps the door closed to make sure he cannot escape. This was not panic. It was calculated self-preservation. In legal terms, it's accessory to murder, as he basically assisted the woman. That adds 20 years in prison. And sadly, that was far from the last time Player 100 traded someone else's life for his own safety. After Player 232 is stabbed, his body collapses against the door. It falls open, and he drops to the floor, lifeless. Player 100 watches it happen. No reaction, no remorse. He simply steps forward, leans down, and pulls a key off 232's neck. That is theft. Technically petty, but still illegal. In the real world, that earns him a fine of $5, a small price for a stolen key, but this diaper daddy is paying up every last penny. And the worst part, he is just getting started. Player 100 is panicking and trying to find a place to hide. He sees Nam-gyu and Player 333 walking nearby. Nam-gyu is singing as they walk. Player 100 attempts to escape, but the door he tries is locked. There is a dead body on the floor beside him. With no other option, Player 100 smears blood from the corpse onto his face and lies down next to it, pretending to be dead. This is considered desecration of a corpse. The act involves tampering with a dead body for personal gain or evasion. The legal sentence for this is 6 months in prison. It was pretty smart, to be honest. And the situation does not end there. Shortly after escaping the chaos, Player 100 meets Player 44. He has 2 keys, she has 1. Together, they enter the exit room. Player 100 inserts both of his keys into the panel. Player 44 places hers in as well. The congratulations song starts playing. Instead of celebrating, Player 100 pulls her key out of the lock, throws her aside, and closes the exit door. Moments later, Min-soo enters the room. He is disoriented and asks about Saemi. Player 44 is scared, pressed against the closed door. She tries to reason with him, calling him a loser and telling him Saemi might have been a ghost. Min-soo, in a state of hallucination, sees Nam-gyu instead of Player 44. He stabs her, and she dies. This act of betrayal and inaction qualifies as accessory to murder. The fact that he had the ability to intervene but chose not to also qualifies as gross negligence. That adds another 20 years in prison. But the body count connected to Player 100 continues to rise. During a bridge game, a guard announces that everyone must cross within a time limit or be eliminated. Gi-hun and Player 96 manage to cross, but once across, Player 96 starts pushing back players who try to finish the bridge. Finally, Player 100 is next in line. The others behind him are panicking, too afraid to move forward or risk falling. As the old man keeps on jumping and his body is giving out, at this point, probably shat himself a few times too. Player 100 begins begging Player 96 to let him pass. He offers half of his future winnings and promises to help keep the rest of the players off the bridge. This act of negotiation, with the intent to block and eliminate others, qualifies as conspiracy to commit murder, so we can add another 15 years for the pooper. His crimes are no longer just personal. Now he's helping others carry them out. Player 100 learns that Player 222 is, in fact, a baby. With her mother now dead, the baby inherits her prize money. This news causes chaos among the players. Player 203 is enraged. Others follow. Min-soo is visibly shaking at this point. The group concludes that the baby must die. 5 players, calling themselves the Circles, support the idea. Player 100 is one of them. Before anything can happen, a guard fires a warning shot and announces that violence is no longer allowed. Still, Player 100 supported the plan and was part of the group calling for the death of a child. This falls under conspiracy to commit infanticide, aka the murder of a child. The legal sentence is 25 years in prison. The desperation is growing. So are the crimes, and he is not stopping now. Gi-hun is sitting quietly with the baby. On the other side of the room, a group of contestants gathers. Player 100 leads the discussion. He suggests they get rid of Player 456, the baby, and Player 125. The others agree. All 6 decide to work together, planning to eliminate the 3 remaining players. They even agree on how to split the prize money, 7.6 billion, one each. All of them put their hands in, including Player 3D3, who is the baby's father. This is a clear case of conspiracy to commit murder. It involves 3 targets, one of whom is an infant. The sentence is 50 years in prison. It is no longer survival. It is premeditated, and what he did is worse. When the button appears to start the round, it is Player 100 who presses it. The timer begins with 15 minutes on the clock. He immediately starts the discussion, guiding the group into deciding who should be eliminated. He presents the decision as democratic, but begins steering the conversation. At this point, Player 100 nominates Player 203 to do the pushing. When 203 hesitates, afraid Min-soo might grab him, Player 100 continues facilitating the plan, keeping the group focused on execution rather than questioning the ethics. Eventually, Player 3D3 picks up the pole and eliminates Min-soo. Player 100 does not intervene or object. He is an active participant in the setup, the choice of the victim, and the pressure placed on others to carry it out. This level of involvement qualifies as accessory to murder. He enabled the decision, encouraged the group dynamic, and helped organize a death. The legal sentence is life in prison. But this is not the end of Player 100's decisions leading to death. It only gets worse from here. After the previous round, Player 100 approaches Gi-hun and asks for the baby. He claims there is a new safety plan in place. He tells Gi-hun that the group will draw lots to decide the next target, making it random and fair. He presents it as logical and structured. The others support the idea, saying it is real. Gi-hun nods but doesn't hand over the baby. He only agrees to see the lots. As Gi-hun watches, Player 100 pretends to count, faking the draw. The intention is clear. The story is a cover. They do not want fairness, they want the baby. This staged agreement and misleading setup count as conspiracy to commit murder. The sentence is 15 years in prison. But Player 100 is not finished using fake fairness to hide real violence. What comes next is far more direct. During the preparation for the next round, Player 203 is repeatedly hitting Player 39 in the face. He is not acting alone. Player 100 and Player 353 are holding Player 39 down, making it impossible for him to defend himself. While the beating continues, the group discusses a plan to immobilize Player 39 so they can throw him off during the next stage. Player 100 is part of this plan. He restrains the victim and agrees to divide the money once it is done. This act qualifies as assault, resulting in actual bodily harm. The legal sentence is 3 years in prison. And finally, it is time for his downfall. After everyone falls, only 5 players remain. Player 100, Player 39, Player 222, Player 456, and Player 333. Seeing the field narrow, Player 100 once again turns to numbers. He tells the group they can throw out Player 39 next and walk away with more money. He calculates it out loud, 11.4 billion one each. But not everyone is interested. Player 333, holding the pole, keeps moving forward. He doesn't respond to the offer. Neither does Gi-hun. Player 100 offers to give them his share of 1.4 billion because he only needs 10 billion won to pay his debt. Then Player 333 speaks, 15.2 billion without you. And just like that, he pushes Player 100 off the platform. Player 100 is eliminated. No more calculations. But his record doesn't vanish with him. His full sentence still stands. As we wrap it up, Player 100's full list of crimes includes embezzlement and financial fraud with 20 years in prison and a 250,000 won fine, theft with a $5 fine, desecration of a corpse with 6 months in prison, assault with 3 years, conspiracy to commit murder with 80 years in prison, conspiracy to commit infanticide with 25 years, and accessory to murder with 2 life sentences. In total, that's 2 life sentences, 128 years in prison, and a 250,005 won fine. And of course, the 10 billion won he owes in general. This was all for the crimes of Player 100. If you want to see more videos like this, click the one on the screen now.